From German Chancellor Olaf Scholz's recent call with Putin to the potential impact of a Trump presidency on U.S. support for Ukraine and to the EU's energy strategy. Now, there is a lot at stake here for Ukraine. And joining me now in studio for expert insight on how these developments could affect Ukraine's security, economy, and future of the country is Ukraine's former Minister of Economy, Pavlo Sheremeta. Sir, welcome. So thank you so much for being here on TVP World News tonight.
Good evening.
Let's begin first with this talk between, this phone call between Chancellor Scholz and the Russian president. Sir, I mean, they haven't spoken in 2 years. How do you interpret this, the timing of the call and, of course, the potential implications for Ukraine's security and sovereignty? Why did this call take place?
I don't know why it took place, but I do know it would be much better if President Putin would call Chancellor Scholz, begging him to stop launching the Taurus missiles into the Russian territory and to slow down the advance of the Ukrainian army. That would be much better. The current call under this condition is troubling, at least.
Do you think that diplomatic engagement with Russia would lead to any tangible outcomes?
Well, we don't know, but look, the overall mood now with the new team in the White House is to spearhead some kind of a solution. What worries us Ukrainians is, first of all, the discussion that are happening actually behind our back, as
right.
It looks like. I mean, there are phone calls afterwards, maybe a day later, as Chancellor Scholz said. It's interesting that he called your Prime Minister sooner than he will call our President, which is actually not so funny. But yes, the mood is to find a solution. And that mood, we welcome that mood. But two things worrying, as I said, that number one, it's behind our backs. Number two is that it might be on the terms that are not favorable to Ukraine, given the current dynamics of the battlefield.
Let's go into, as you mentioned right now, into Trump's cabinet. Now, what we do know is that Trump said that he intends to pursue direct negotiations. I mean, many times he said he can, find a solution to this war in one day. He said he's keen to send a Ukraine envoy to Ukraine. How feasible is this approach? And what is it going to mean for Ukraine's territorial integrity? What can you say about this?
Well, look, an appointment of envoy, specially focused on this particular war and invasion and how to deal with that, I guess it's a good news. The more communication we have with the new leadership team at the White House, the better it is, because through the communication we can develop a better understanding and a stronger trust. Now, we have to understand that the U.S. is not the party to the war. It's Russia invading Ukraine. And from what we can see, there is no interest whatsoever from Russia at the moment to slow down not only the advance that they're having, but continuous every night bombardment of the Ukrainian cities, including the Ukrainian capital.
How do you anticipate Trump's return to the White House might affect Ukraine's economic and military support? I mean, given, of course, the ongoing Russian bombardments as well.
We understand that the resources are limited everywhere in the world. We understand that both the European Union and North America, including the United States, have urgent, pressing investment priorities at home. We appreciate the help and assistance that was given both by the European Union, North America, and other regions and countries of the world. We understand that this cannot be endless, although, of course, if you take proportionally, the economy of the developed world is much bigger than the economy of Russia, even if you add North Korea. That happens to be, by the way, the economy of North Korea is 1/60th South Korea, just South Korea. So South Korea is about 58 times bigger economy than North Korea. So the strength is actually, of course, on the Western side, and the President-elect Trump phrase that peace through strength is the right phrase. What we see at the moment, back to the beginning of our discussion, I'm not sure that these discussions is peace through strengths.
Right.
Regarding the financial and economic support, as I said, we understand that there are other priorities present. We understand that any kind of leadership wants to divert the resources that are going into the war. Looks like almost an endless war. They were to be used at home. At the same time, of course, all the existential issues that we have. If Ukraine falls, God forbids, you basically have this kind of reckless, brutal Russian army at the doorstep of the European Union and NATO. So it's better to spend maybe 1 or 2% of GDP, of general GDP of the Western countries.
Ukraine also just had a recent approval of 4.1 billion euros, right, under the Ukraine facility to aid in its reconstruction. Can you tell me a little bit about that? I mean, what about reforms? What does Ukraine intend to do about reforms and also with these new funds?
Well, two things, of course. It's reconstruction, because many buildings, and especially the crucial buildings, many schools, many hospitals are badly damaged. Of course, they need the reconstruction. Lots of infrastructure, like bridges, are destroyed, so they need to be reconstructed as well. This support also goes into the budget to support Ukrainian teachers and doctors, because all the taxes that Ukraine collects at the moment goes into the military effort. Now, combining your two questions, it's very important to mention that Ukraine does go through very serious budget optimization process right now, because I feel the pain, for example, from the mayors. Mayors are complaining that resources are diverted from the Ukrainian cities into the central budget. No, why is that done? Because that resource is needed to support the Ukrainian budget. So Ukraine does go through its own homework, optimizing its expenses to make sure that we can sustain this war of attrition.
Let me ask you this a little bit on shifting a little bit of a topic here. I mean, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban really is calling on the EU to reconsider sanctions on Russian energy. What alternatives exist for EU countries to reduce reliance on Russia? And especially, I mean, we're looking at Ukraine having a tough winter ahead.
Well, back to the U.S., back to the new team. My understanding is that the new team wants to significantly expand the oil and gas production in the United States. So I guess more supply from the U.S., more demand from Europe. We have both ends meet, and it's a win-win situation at the end of the day.
Just very briefly, I want to take you to another interesting coming out of Russian state television. So since the elections, of course, they've been going on to TV to talk about, I'm talking about Olga Skabeyeva, Solovyov. They're really talking about this Trump's new cabinet. And of course, criticizing here specifically as Pete Hegseth, who's going to lead Trump's Defense Department, and Mike Waltz, right? What do you think that Trump's new cabinet is going to have on Moscow? Why? I mean, what can you say worries them this time around?
Look, I'm not following the Russian news at all. I'm not a citizen of the United States. It's, of course, for the President Trump to select his own cabinet. However, I do have the feeling that the understanding of what is at stake in Ukraine at the moment is bipartisan. Yes, there are voices in the new team, more isolationist, more like America first, but also there are still strong voices, I would call them Reaganite voices, Atlanticist voices. And it's, of course, there's some kind of the tension is going on. I would say it's a creative tension. And for example, the appointment or suggested appointment of the Senator Marco Rubio to the position of the Secretary of State, which is actually key. His position is strong, so I think we should watch also the appointments like this. And I don't know, maybe that worries Russia, but what worries Russia makes us happy.
Thank you so much, Pavlo Sheremeta, former Ukrainian Minister of Economy, on being with us here today on TVP World.
Thank you.
And this completes this edition of World News Tonight here on TVP World. I'm Diana Skaya. Thanks for watching.